I guess an introduction. So if you follow my work, I am a work with plants. So I'm a rongoa practitioner, a kairongoa, a Māori healer. I like to write. I also do miri, which is Māori healing, body work. And I do see clients a good part of the week, maybe 2 or 3 days a week. But the rest of the time, I like to use that energy to create, to write, to be with the plants, to keep learning myself, and just to be in that creative space, because that is so important to me, and it keeps me, healthy, keeps me vibrant, it keeps me alive, living. That's what I love to do. And recently I had the experience of spending 3 days in the ngahere, which is the forest. And I spent 3 days there, and I was in preparation for that for a whole year. And the reason it was for a year was because there was a particular rako, a particular plant that I wanted to go and see, and it usually flowers in September around that time. And I had been to this ngahere before, and so I had planned to get back there and just really immerse myself in the study of this particular plant. And yeah, it took me a year to prepare for that. And as the day grew closer for leaving and to be going there, I started to prepare in wairua, which is to prepare my my spiritual nature, my spiritual side, my wairua, and to send a karanga to this ngahere, to let the ngahere know that I was coming, and that I was just sending, I was already in that space. And even though I was in my whare, I was already in that ngahere before I had even left this house. So there was a lot of preparation for that. And I guess I wanted to share about how I harvest plants, how I work with plants, and how I show my acknowledgement for when I want to make rongoa, for when I want to make medicine with the plant. So especially if I'm going to harvest, I've put a call out long before I need to go to these particular forests. I put a call out for the rongoa that I require, whether it's for myself or for someone close to me or for a client. I put a call out to the rongoa, and in my mind, I just sit with it and wait for the particular ngahere to reveal itself or to show itself, and that's how I choose where I'm going to go. And it could be just up the road, or it could be in some other area that I need to travel to. And I don't question why. I don't ask why I have to go there. I just know that that's the place, because it's really interesting. What I've learned over the years is that a rongoa will call, or I will call a rongoa, a plant, and the plant will be the one to bring me to that space. But usually what happens is there's other mahi to be done, or something else to be done there, or to receive from that place. So I never question. I just trust in wairua. I trust in my spirit team, in my kaitiaki. I trust them, and so I don't question it. So when I have to go somewhere, I go, and so there's so much preparation before actually getting to this ngahere. It is, making sure that I myself am I myself am in alignment with this particular ngahere or with the place that I'm going to, making sure that I am in alignment, that my whole body, my wairua, my spirit is in alignment with that ngahere. Because what I've learned is that every ngahere has a specific mauri or a specific life force or energy or vibration. It has a specific vibration that is quite unique, depending on what's in the ngahere, depending on the rākau, but depending on the whenua, the land that it grows on, depending on what's happened there, so the whakapapa of that place. So that all contributes to the mauri of the ngahere. And so what I do is I just I sit with that, immerse myself in that, and that's what I do. That's what we do. We just sit with the wairua of it and align ourselves with that wairua, align ourselves with that energy. And then, but with this particular ngahere that I went to, this plant was horopito. Horopito was the one that I was going to look for specifically, and it wasn't for anyone. It was for my own wānanga. So I went there to learn about it. I knew I was going to study about it, go a little bit deeper with it. I mean, I know the rongoa, I know the medicine of what horopito can do, but as Māori, as a kairongoa, there is so much more to the medicine, to the physical medicine of the plant. There's this big tube, it goes right back to source. There's so much information. There's so much whakapapa around a plant. There's so much information that is endless. And the more you sit with a plant, the deeper you go, And it's so exciting when you're not just learning about the medicine of the plant. It's so much more exciting to learn about the spirit of the plant, about the source of where it comes from, and about the mauri of where it grows, of what it can do. That is the real rongoa. That is the pure rongoa, the true essence of a plant. And to get to that place means that we have to look at ourselves, we have to look at our own being and come into alignment with that plant. So it's always, the work of a kairongoa is always looking at yourself first and making sure that everything is in a space of tapu, treating yourself as sacred, looking at, what your thoughts are doing, what your thoughts sit with, if there's any healing, that needs to happen. Because if we have things that we need to heal, that those can sometimes get in the way of your connection to a plant, because it creates a filter, and when you're connecting with the plant, it is ideal not to have any filters at all. You are coming from a space of tapu, a space of sacredness. And so your vessel, your being, is so important to look after and make sure that it is empty, neutral, in a space that you're open to receive and to listen and to be with source. It's all about the creator. It's all about the source. The plants, they are a wonderful bridge to help us to reach that place. And but what I love about the plants is the information that they hold, the deeper information that they hold. And so let's get back to the kōrero. So Horopito was calling, and I wanted to see it in flower. And I missed it in flower because I was a little bit late. But kei te pai, it was okay, because what I've noticed is that a plant will call you to an area, but obviously there are other things for you to do in that space. So when I went to this ngahere, I was in awe. I was in absolute reverence of the mauri of this ngahere. I spent the first day in the ngahere just acknowledging everything, just bringing my energy into the space, introducing myself to the area, and so that I was not intruding on that area. After that was the first day. The first day was building whanaungatanga, learning what was around me, what caught my attention, knowing what I was going to go back and sit with and immerse myself with, and being prepared for that for the next day. So the first day was spent acknowledging the whenua, acknowledging the ngahere, introducing me into that space. You know, the manu were a real good indicator of where I was at in my being, the manu being the birds. The next day, I knew that I was going into wānanga, so I got up early and went in, and it felt really different. It felt amazing. The manu were there to greet me. They were, fluttering around doing their thing. And I just had to walk very, very slowly. And as I walked slowly and noticed everything around me, like the moss, the lichen, I was not walking very fast at all. I was walking at such a slow pace, and that was okay. I loved it. In the end, I had to sit down. I had to sit down on a log and just listen to the ngahere, just listen and look at what was really there around me when I sat. And I merged myself with the angiangi, with the moss and the moss. So I sat with the moss and I looked at the angiangi, the lichen, the hanging lichen, because I realized that it was the hanging lichen, the angiangi, and the moss, the kohu, that was making up most of them. It was contributing to the mauri of the ngahere. It was huge. And it's another level of rongoa. And so I sat hanging out with the lichen and just watched it. There was so much light. There was so much light coming from the lichen. Joyous, beautiful, elegant lichen, just draping over the branches like a korowai of protection, just hanging out. And so I realized I'll just hang out with them. I'll just hang out and merge. They seemed, they were of a higher light, so a different type of light than the plants, because they have different whakapapa, so their atua are different. their kaitiaki are different, and so the light was different, and their kōrero was different. Their mauri was different. And so just enjoying hanging out with the lichen. And then I would look at the moss and realize that, the moss, they were a very big factor in this ngahere, because it was everywhere, and it was growing up on the trunks of the rako, growing on the forest floor. It was everywhere, and it was amazing. It was beautiful, and it creates, it was misty, and it was the magnitude of its mauri was huge. It was stunning. So I sat looking at the moss, and like, this moss is 360 million years old. 360 million years old. Just think about that for a little bit. 360 million years old that moss has been, the DNA of that moss. This is what we're looking at in this ngahere. And I looked at it and thought about what moss does, and it just sits there. It just sits there, and it just is. And it looks beautiful, but it is powerful, and it made up the mauri of that ngahere. And it's doing so many things for that environment. It's creating moisture, it's creating habitat, it's creating soil, it's acting like a korowai of protection. It was incredible. And I sort of sat with the moss thinking, well, if anything knows how to be still, it is moss. So be like moss. So just sitting with the moss and just learning about these two particular plants, it was amazing. And on the third day, as I was walking through the ngahere, it seemed to, on the third day is when the kōrero came through for me. And what came through was that the mauri of the ngahere itself. So I always say that entering the ngahere, entering a forest, is like entering your soul. And it really, really is. But you could also have it as also entering the mind, the hinengaro. Because I saw that the mauri of a ngahere can help us to bring our hinengaro in alignment with that forest energy. Now, I'm still sitting with that and unpacking that, but I can see that this is it's a type of therapy, and it's happening all over the world. People take people into the forests for healing, and to feel that, mindfulness walking and forest bathing is out there, forest therapy is out there. And what I saw is that a great measuring tool to know where you are in the forest in terms of your alignment with it is the manu, the birds, and how if the birds leave you alone, that's a good measuring tool that you're not intruding their space, that you've immersed and become one with it, that you've become one with the forest, that you have become one with the plants, that everything around it, you're walking slow. You've slowed right down. Your mind is slow. You're in the present. You're mindful of where you walk. You're mindful of the sounds that you make. everything you do is slow and precise and in alignment with everything around you, so as not to disturb the mauri. And this is a very old tradition. Indigenous people had been doing this forever. It is being in alignment with the mauri of the ngahere, slowing right down, slowing the ngako, slowing the heart right down, slowing the mind right down, tuning in to the ngahere, the energy around you. And that is an indicator, that is a great measuring tool or resource tool to help us to bring our mind into alignment. And when you've walked and experienced the mauri of the ngahere and experienced that feeling, you will always be able to return to that in your mind. You will always be able to embody that because you've already experienced it. Now, so the experience that I had, I now bring it into my space when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling stressed. I just slow myself. Remember that energy of the forest, the sensations, and slow myself right down. And sometimes you might have to go outside to do this, or go inside another room to do this. You just have to make a move to bring that serenity into your being. It can be done. It can be done. It can be done. So to know serenity, or to know that feeling of serenity, is to also let go of, things that disturb that serenity. So an example is walking in the ngahere, I slowed right down and tried not to make a sound. If I needed to get something out of my bag, I did it very, very carefully. I didn't want to disturb the peace. So I did everything slowly and naturally, slowly, so I didn't disturb the peace. And so that's something to bring into our daily lives, is what do we need to do to keep the peace, to maintain a certain peace, because there will be things that we need to do around us to help us to maintain that peace. And there might be things that you need to do. I know there's things that I need to do that I can think about right now. And it's just putting things into place to be able to support you into finding those peaceful moments. Those peaceful moments. Even things like certain foods and drinks that can disturb the peace in the body. That's what I'm talking about, is talking about those kinds of things that can really upset the flora in the body. So just seeing our body as a temple, seeing the ngahere as a sacred temple, we can really merge our energies together by experiencing it first, and then bringing that mauri, embodying that experience, and having that as our compass, as our measuring tool to in our daily lives. It can be done. It can be done. So I just wanted to share that kōrero with you, and I hope and trust that wherever you are, you're enjoying your day. And I will finish this kōrero by giving gratitude to you for being here with me and for supporting my work over the years, and just supporting me. It really means a lot. Your encouragement to keep doing what I'm doing means a lot to me, and I feel very, very blessed. And I hope to see you again. Ngā mihi, ka kite anō.